The balance of power in both chambers of Kentucky's General Assembly remains unchanged after this week's election. While there was no threat at all to the GOP's supermajority, Democrats had hopes to flip seats held by Republicans around Louisville and the greater Lexington area. Ultimately, Republicans and Democrats managed to flip one seat respectively. Republicans picked up a House seat in the 88th district, with Vanessa Grossell unseating a member of Democrat leadership, Sherilyn Stevenson. Democrats flipped the 45th House district with Adam Moore narrowly carrying the district over Thomas Jefferson, who defeated incumbent Killian Timoney in the primary. Both Governor Andy Beshear and Senate President Robert Stivers spoke about the message being sent by voters and advice for Democrats with waning legislative influence.
I think voters are less ideological than many try to put in the analysis. I think they're more focused on who will get things done, who will find common ground, and ultimately who will work for them and those everyday needs that they're facing.
They need to focus not on fringe elements, and they need to focus on mainstream issues, and apparently they don't.
Senate President Stivers said that he believes a Republican is likely to succeed Beshear after his term, and that the governor has limited influence to involve himself in elections like Stevenson's, which did not turn out successful. Jared, to the point that's being made there, did Beshear have any real impact during this election, whether it be on Amendment 2 or any of these local state races?
I mean, I have to be honest, I don't really think so. I mean, he did a statewide campaign against Amendment 2, but I mean, that thing was going down anyway. And what we've seen here in Kentucky with the governor is that his endorsement isn't like transparent. Like, he can't transfer his power to other candidates. And, you know, because while he did endorse Adam Moore, he also endorsed Sherilyn Stevenson, and Sherilyn Stevenson was in the governor's in all of her commercials and a bunch of other stuff on her mail. And so it's just, you can't transfer it, you can't give it away. It works when a Beshear's on the ballot, but when a Beshear's not on the ballot, that's when you run into some problems.
The Senate President talked about the two specific races that did get flipped. He felt like with Moore winning, he felt like there was a big personality-driven race in that district. With Grossell winning in the 88th, he felt like there was a big policy difference. Do you agree with both of those takes?
To a point. You know, then the 45th district, Thomas Jefferson, I know people were sending me pictures. He was still knocking doors with primary literature, door hangers that talked about Senate Bill 150 and very arch conservative issues, and touted his endorsement from the Jefferson County, from the Jessamine County GOP. And so I don't know that he ever really made a switch from the primary campaign, which is kind of where those Liberty candidates excel, to a general election message in what's more of a purple district in suburban Lexington. I think Vanessa Grossell in Sherilyn Stevenson's district, Sherilyn had only won by 36 votes in 2022, and that was without Trump on top of the ballot. It was a new district for her in that election. This was her first election with a Republican president on top. And with Scott County, she was up, Sherilyn was up over 1,000 votes when Fayette County came in. Scott County came in and just swamped her. I think the district has just been redrawn in a way where it was going to be hard for a Democrat, especially in a presidential year, to hold on to that seat.
Should Democrats also be concerned about some of the other tight races that we saw? I mean, even though they came out ahead in former Representative Roberts' seat, you have Matt Lehman, who, whenever I last checked, only is eking that out by 30 votes. Same thing with Representative Rachel Rourke, who only carried about 51%. Should these have been that close?
I mean, alarm bells are going off. And what's even more interesting is the fact that they could not pick up any Louisville suburban seats. We thought we had a good chance at getting Representative Emily Callaway, Representative Fleming, and Representative Dixon. We thought that we could get maybe one of those three, you know, something like that, and we went 0 for 3 there, and then barely hung on in places where we should have been a little more safe. And this is a message from the national level as well as the state level. We got to change something drastically. We got to go back to basics and start talking about people, meeting them where they are. We can't be seen as the highly educated snob party. Like, of course, why don't you want me? I know what's best. All that's got to go, whether you did it intentionally or not. You know, we got to get back to working class people, listening to them, and doing what they need.
We got a little less than 30 seconds left here. Trey, for Republicans, how does your party not risk inter-party turmoil by such a growing amount of members that'll have to be managed?
I mean, I think we've already seen that on the rise. You know, Kentucky's going to become one of those states where the fight's in the primary, and if you want to have influence on the direction of the state, you're going to have to be involved in primary elections. So I think that's what we're going to see for the next foreseeable future.
All right. Thank you both for your insight. We'll be right back.